Hey, this is Karla with Discover Your Center, and sorry, I'm back. I'm a few minutes late to this live today, a few glitches, which is fascinating, right? If this were to happen a couple years ago, I would have been, well, more than a couple years ago, but maybe even a couple years ago, I would have been just sort of this jittery mess, like worrying that I had let people down, or that I let myself down, or I didn't follow through, or all these things that would go through my head. And I'm wondering if any of you relate to that, like where when little things happen. So anxiety, we've been talking about this these past couple of weeks. I just kind of launched right in. We've been talking about this the last couple days, about anxiety when it rears its ugly head. You know, I've talked a little bit about tools from Ayurveda and how this ancient healing medicine looks at it in terms of we are nature and nature is us, and the elements of air and space, air and ether, which make this dosha called the vata, are strong forces in anxiety. And when most of us, or most often, maybe this isn't true for you, when anxiety arises, there is a sense of feeling sort of scattered or busy. Like so many people describe the racing mind, or sometimes we even feel like a jitteriness, a racing in the body. And another thing it can do is the little things, like we all have a certain amount of stress really in life. It's external. Sometimes we have internal stresses too. And if more than maybe half the time, maybe even more than 40% of the time, like if we're experiencing stress in going into the fight or flight or freeze mode where our nervous system is becoming very overactive, that's usually a state of anxiety. It's where we become sort of in this perpetual state of feeling under fire. And it is not fun. For me, it felt like it was this huge, huge grip. And so today I wanted to maybe let this video be a little bit shorter, but just pick up again on nature, and you are nature, and nature is us. Nature is you, nature is me. And what if anxiety may be an awareness that you have, in that it's trying to get your attention. Like we're really taught that when things come up in our body or we experience a dis-ease, that there's something wrong, we have to fix it, we've got to do whatever we can to move it out. And what if we were willing to be present, embrace it, be with it, listen, and it could actually be an awareness. And part of that awareness, or part of the discomfort or the communication from your body, is really like, hey, we're not aligning here. Like, you're not really being you. You're not being who you came into this world to be, and what you value, and what you believe in, and the energies you want in your life. And so when we can really be with the uncomfortable, sometimes that awareness can come through. And I talked yesterday about some of the tools around breath and body tools and questions that are so potent to open up that space. And I want to invite you to maybe explore that video, or know that those are 3 ways that we can really open ourselves up to the awareness under the anxiety, or behind the anxiety, or that maybe anxiety actually is. For me, sometimes that anxiety, I feel like, really is my own awareness, if I'm willing to be totally present with it. Awareness of what else is possible, what else could be. And it's just a little whisper. And sometimes it feels like it's a big shout, but it's usually because I've missed the whispers when I was moving out of harmony with really who I am. And that can come from, we come into the world and very quickly everybody sort of tells us what's right and wrong and good or bad. And we're taught that, we see it, we pick it up from others, that we can lose parts of ourselves. Or that's what it can feel like. So I want to invite you to imagine what it's like, for most of us, when we step out into nature, and maybe you're at the beach or the forest or wherever your favorite place is, or just in your backyard on the grass, and you look down at the earth, and maybe you touch it, and you look up at the sky, and maybe you notice the vastness of the sky or the clouds moving. I know I have this great memory of when I was a kid, And sometimes when I felt really anxious, at one of my probably most anxious moments, I just had this sense of, what would it take to have that sense that I had as a child? And it was pretty early as a child, lying in my backyard. I grew up in a village of 200 people, small town, and I would lie in the green grass all the time. This is in Wisconsin, and I would look up at the clouds, and one of my favorite things to do was watching clouds. I'm going to give you a moment to pause with that as the fire truck comes by. I hope everyone's okay. Yes. So the clouds and just the sense of peace and calm and ease and happiness and expansiveness that I had and joy lying on the grass looking at the clouds. And whatever that may be for you, nature can be a beautiful tool to help ease anxiety. It's the invitation to come back to self. It's the invitation to be present now. And there is a sense of receiving from nature, like nature and its rhythms all around us. We have day rhythms, night rhythms, like our 24-hour cycle. This is all from Ayurveda, and yet Western science and medicine is now calling it circadian medicine or circadian rhythm. But in Ayurveda, they look at it as dinacharya, and that we have these rhythms to our day, and there are seasons, seasonal rhythms and annual rhythms and even life rhythms that we follow. And sometimes we're swimming so hard against them that it can create a sense of unease, dis-ease, or imbalance. And what if we could receive more from that? And I'm not talking about like you have to have this and you have to have that and you should do this and you shouldn't do that, because all that rigid schedule can create dis-ease as well. But it's just tapping in a little bit more of to the rhythms of the day and what could you receive, like from when energies are high. Like from 10 to 12, fire is high, and there's a greater invitation to activity, and our digestive fire is higher, and the sun is high in the sky. At nighttime, we can sense after sundown when the animals are scurrying away. There's a little bit of a sense. Sorry, I think I'm shaking a little bit. There's a sense of yumminess and calming down and getting ready for sleep, and we could tap into that. So nature, what can you receive from nature? What if you went outside today? It can be for a few breaths, it can be for 5 minutes, maybe an hour, to just be and to see how much you can receive through your senses. Open your eyes and notice. Smell everything that you smell. Let your ears really tune into everything around. Feel the breeze on your skin, or if you happen to touch water or move into water, feel that. And just notice it all and soak it all up and let that nourish you, because that is another way of inviting the part of our nervous system to kick in, the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of the fight or flight associated with anxiety, the sympathetic nervous system. So, an invitation today just to sort of move more toward receiving, relaxing, even when that doesn't feel so easy. It starts with a choice. It really does start with a choice. When you that you want more ease, more space, more abundance, whatever that is. Are you willing to trust that it will show up? And what if what is light for you is actually true for you? So any of the heaviness and the anxiety may not be true. It may not be yours. It may not be you being your true nature. So I know it's not easy all the time. I've been there. And this sense of anxiety can still surface. But I have a lot of tools now that I use. And so where I once used to be at the spiral at the top, and I felt like very quickly I would spiral down into a big dark hole, now I can sense that pretty quickly and asking the question, who does it belong to? And then I move into that space. Like, what else could I choose? What else is possible? So go out into the world, being you, knowing that you are not your anxiety is not you, and what else is possible beyond it? How much are you willing to receive? receive from nature, receive from all things around you, and receive the gift of you. And if you would like some support with that, just a simple chat where I might be able to facilitate you to knowing more clearly what might be the first step to take, you can reach out, Karla at discoveryourcenter.com, or go to my website, discoveryourcenter.com. Thanks so much. I'm really grateful for you. Bye.